And what I've tried to do is to put together the big picture and make a number of changes because, for reasons that you'll just see in a minute. I think it's most unusual that so far this meeting, and it's rarely happened since I've attended board meetings since 2014, and yet I've only been on board about 5 months. We're talking about putting gas in our tanks, otherwise known as getting paying members on our rolls, and most importantly, retaining them. The reason I emphasize that is I think Illinois is losing them as rapidly as they're able to put them in, and they aren't working at putting them in now for reasons that are all aware to everybody. If that seems like a strange thing to you, then I think you got to look at how does a Girl Scout troop this time of year, how do they run their meeting? First thing they ask at every meeting by the leader is, how many cookies have we sold this month?
Yeah.
So I ask whoever has the responsibility and who counts the new and old members in NACRA, how many new members at full price, at half price, at less than half price, and what's the net increase in dollars? I've not seen one program initiated to get new members since my first visit to a board meeting in Nashville in November of 2014. The only program I'm aware of, Bob, is the ones when you go out to visit friends, make presentations at their community, which is a good thing to do, but that's not a member plan. So we haven't had it. I'm asked to present our committee's results on several programs for achieving advocacy objectives. That's very important, and I'm going to do that in a few minutes. I can share that to you in a minute or so, but I think we're operating in a dysfunctional way, and let me explain why. We just spent an inordinate amount of time on the bylaws. And years to get to them, have them, or think we have them. I'm sure there'll be some people that raise in every board meeting since and before, while on the sales front we did virtually nothing. Formalized process for a new join NACRA and partner with us. So how can we grow? We want states, we want individuals. We get enough individuals in a state, we'll form a state chapter. But when I ask about a state joining NACRA process, court has not approved that yet. How are you going to get members if you can't retain them and put together a state organization? Let's move on and get whatever needs to be approved, then get it announced. And so what are the anticipated benefits for an individual state organization to join NACRA? I'm coming to that. That's the advocacy effort. While nobody on the board seems to be doing anything to bring in large numbers of quantities of memberships except you, Bob.
Yeah.
Our board members are drinking up expenses at association money to attend board meetings where little seems to be accomplished. Quite frankly, we don't have to all get together face to face and have the expense associated with that. I think it's wonderful that we do it, but I don't think we can afford it. At the Washington, D.C. meeting a month ago, I said we operate like this. Get ready, aim. Get ready again, now let's aim. Aim again, get ready. Let's trigger, hit pull. Exception last year when the previous president was relieved of his duties. And now let's move forward and make some progress, and that's what we're trying to do. Some of the other
correction. The previous president resigned, who did not want to fulfill the will of the board. He was, let's make that clear.
Okay, but he's gone. He's not blocking.
He's gone. No, he's gone.
Okay. So,
Mr. Walpoyer, let me take a little issue with what you said. In the last 30 days, I have been to the Virginia annual meeting and gave a presentation there, which was a promotion for NACRA, and to join as a state, full-up state member of NACRA. Last week I was in Arizona talking to a CCRC there in Arizona about the idea of their taking the lead in the same manner that was done in Washington State to develop a state organization in Arizona. I don't think that Bob Nicholson is the only one that has been been active. And there has been work done.
I don't think what you've done and what Bob done is what I would call a membership program plan.
Well, it may not be a membership program plan.
I applaud your efforts, and I ask you the question, if you didn't have family out there, would you have gone?
Quite possibly I would have, yes.
Okay, well then, wonderful. I think somebody on the board that's the plan. Serendipity trips, I don't think are part of a plan. So some other, while I'm at it here, like we're a viable organization. And what I mean by that we're really in business. We now have an upgraded website, and we have a superb related research site as well. But we don't have any email addresses for anyone, for each of us, that are except personal. Some of them with spouses on them. Most website providers free email boxes for as many as you need. For example, my business website costs me $39 a year, and they give me 500 mailbox free. I only need one of them. Bob's email address and logo is particularly egregious when sometimes it takes up to 20% of a page in Lifeline or by out on my copier. I've expressed a distaste because of the flamboyant display of the cross. They believe in proselytizing, so we get some rejection of people to join it. They say, no, it's just a Christian organization. That's not true, but we're giving that impression. If I was going to join an organization where the leader flaunted his faith constantly in communications, whether it's the Star of David or the Muslim or whatever that is, I wear a cross, but I'm not aware of it. And so, what is it for retirement life is not really relevant if you want to serve on a business function. So what do you need to do to make NACRA great again? It's got to be more than just that things are going to change. On the slides that Bennett showed in D.C., one of them identified what NACRA as an organization must do. I pull it out now and I look at it as plan the work and work the plan. You must set goals. We're good at setting goals. Then measure them against our resources, not so well. Adjust appropriately, rally the leadership, communicate to the membership, and then plan the work and work the plan. But goals without plans and the associated metrics are useless. So what I'd like to think about is to think strategically and quit always doing tactics. Here are the priorities, which we've just talked about, Bob. One of them is the membership committee chairman. Take the chairman off of that. Appoint an advocacy committee chairman. Planning committee. Appoint a communications committee. The reason I said a meeting planning committee is because you, Bob, the chairman, are going around and making hotel reservations for us. Back in the day when I was busy in a business, I had my office manager handle 20 meetings of 30 people apiece all over the country from her desk and getting very good prices. But don't stop set goals, and this means exactly what will be accomplished by when. Measure those goals against resources and then adjust them appropriately on the available budget. Then the committee must set up their plan to achieve the goals. How we're going to do it step by step. Spell out the steps that they're going to follow. Then additionally, I think we need to set up 14 days, a new email for each member of the board and all people on committees. Let's start going out to leading age and all of our audiences and operate professionally for a change. Then in order to streamline communications with the residents, services committee that will acknowledge each email and communication with the membership, because we're getting emails from members about things that are nothing but distractions from what we do. I think have more important issues than to deal with non-productive emails. For example, I happened to get hold of yesterday an 11-page stream of emails, member emails.
Amazing.
Anything important and significant will be answered by member services. not take the time of a valuable board member. Email said, and I quote, "You plan to prod the NAACP board, you're laudable to see how FASB ruling of big picture shouldn't be lost in the black Calcutta called NACRA." That just tells you the attitude of fighting them. The board has the responsibility to carry out its goals and objectives for the benefits of the members, not to do customer service for each and every inquiry. That's why we need a member service correspondent, because members do have the entitlement to get their emails answered, but not taking valuable time from key people that are very busy now. But appointed by the board, we need to appoint a membership coordinator. Now, in conclusion, let me get to the points that you've asked. What's the advocacy committee going to do? Suggesting 4 ways to go forward, and out of those, just take them one at a time. But not necessarily the most important. We need a federal law mandating the NAIC to develop the model law receives the same protections as insured life annuities. Other alternatives. We need a federal law providing that only licensed insurance company can issue a prepaid life continuing care contract for which an entry fee is required. Number 3, we need an amendment to the Internal Revenue Code mandating that residents be members in tax-exempt senior housing, which is called Home for the Agent now in tax parlance. And fourthly, we need a law that any senior housing entity that incurs lobbying expenses on behalf of the provider must designate equal amounts for lobbying activity to be directed by the residents. What we're saying is that senior housing, right now, your communities, the managed your communities, spend your money to lobby for things that might be against you. The opportunity for the provider to provide us an equal amount of lobbying activity directed by you, the residents of your community. Well, anyway, now back to to grow our membership adequately and quickly. How are we going to do that? Got to put a committee together of people that understand marketing, membership drives, and organize that and get it going. But at the same time, they have to have a budget to do that. Then we go to the financial house, which has a committee, and ask them, how much can we spend? And we have to, it's like starting up a small business. How much money can I spend to get known? Capital, whether you're taking it out of your own pocket or you've got a venture capitalist that's giving it to you, we don't have that benefit. And you know how much you can spend, and that's going to be able to be spent regardless. Unless sales are not there, then you have to cut. We've got a legislative story, but can we really take action against it other than just saying to the residents, this is what we're working on? And moving forward on the communications line, Bob, you already summarized that kind of thing that we need to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I think we are, and I don't think all of this can be under the one umbrella. This is the kind of thing that the board should be focused on in setting up these committees of the board.
Okay, any other comments from other members of the board? And Jack, have you written? You must have some notes there. Could you share the notes with us?
Write them up. I have some notes here, yeah.
Share them with us. Bill Ratliff apparently just left us, and I don't want to lose this from the record.